Good morning from the Water Utilization Learning Center. My name is Brian Olson. I'm out here looking at our corn, and we're entering into that tassel time. Obviously, if you're farther south, your corn's a little bit farther along, but we're out here kind of scouting what's going on with the corn right now, and we've got Mark Ryman out here looking through the corn and finding some issues. And so, Mark, what are some of the things you're finding today?
Well, just kind of that host of things that happens around the reproductive growth stages. Um, Out scouting, when you're thinking about insects, we are seeing rootworm emerge. So rootworm beetles are out there. You can scout for those. And then the other thing we're seeing that's a little bit more of an immediate threat is really our western bean cutworm. So this was a field planted about the 14th of May. It's a little bit behind some of our other ones, and it's pretty attractive to western bean. They really like kind of pre-tassel. The survival of the larvae is highest if they hatch and they can feed on those tassels before moving to the ear. So when your corn is just pre-tassel, it's a great time for them. If you're out there scouting, make sure to pay attention to, the amount of numbers you're seeing. And then if you're seeing high enough numbers, really start to think about what insecticide you're going to apply, because you have to apply it fairly quickly to catch those.
Yeah, once those larvae are into the corn ear, you can't really get to them, right?
No, there really aren't any options, and they're in there feeding on kernels. One thing you hear about a lot is, corn earworm, they're cannibalistic, so you maybe get one per ear. Under really high pressure, I've seen more than one, but western bean, you'll get 3-4 of those really big larvae in there feeding on those kernels at the top, really having the potential to reduce yields for you.
And then with that feeding, it can also introduce things like mycotoxins into that corn ear. So it's just better to get out there right away if you can and get controlled.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about your economic thresholds, think about where your grain is going. Are you selling it, as cattle feed, or is it going maybe as like a food grade type product or something like that? Because that may change what you're looking at in terms of kind of what your economic thresholds are.
All right. So what else are we finding out there?
The other thing we're seeing is some disease pressure starting to happen. We do see some bacterial leaf streak out there in the corn. In some areas it's more severe than others, but you really notice these elongated lesions with really kind of wavy edges to them. That's what you're looking for when it comes to bacterial leaf streak. And the important thing about that one is a fungicide is not going to control it for you.
Yeah, so you were talking about the wavy edges. So as we look at Goss's wilt and gray leaf spot, what are going to be some of the characteristics between those two versus the bacterial leaf streak?
With Goss's wilt, typically you'll start to see a much larger lesion taking up more of the leaf area, and then on the margins, you're going to see kind of black speckling. And if you put them up to like a light, or you hold them up to the sun, the black spots that you see will become translucent. And that's kind of a key thing for identifying Goss's wilt for us. And then we do have a little bit of gray leaf spot out there on the leaves. It's fairly early. I got this at about the ear leaf, and these are really small lesions yet, but you can see they're very rectangular. You're not, very irregular. You're not moving outside of the veins. And so this is gray leaf spots starting to form. So we are starting to see those fungal diseases pick up as well. And that's something to pay attention to as you start to think about your fungicide programs and when you want to apply it.
All right. All good, helpful hints on some things to get out there and evaluate and potential diseases. And obviously, when we're looking at those, again, bacterial leaf streak, Goss's wilt, be no value of a fungicide application, but gray leaf spot there would be. Any other things you want to mention?
I did forget to mention, when you're thinking about western bean cutworm, you have to pay attention to the trait package you have out there. So we do have Tricepta corn products, and those do contain technology that's labeled for the control of western bean cutworm. So that is one thing you do have to think about when you're out there scouting.
All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up, and we'll talk to you in the future about other agronomic topics from the Learning Center. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video from the Gothenburg Water Utilization Learning Center. For more information, please call 308-537-4500.